Hey guys, Keith from Helvonic Games. I'm on Icarus and I wanted to show you what I've done for dealing with radiation at my base, how I've set up my reactor and the rest of my base, kept it separate. So I'll show you initially my main base. So I've just got your traditional square. Best thing I've found is the half pieces all the way around the wall, and that way you can put benches up there dead easy and freezers. That means your base can be half the size and you don't need a second level. So that's my base. Then what I've done is I've created a workshop off to one side. Within that workshop I've got my hover bike and some barrels of oil to charge it, and I've got my armour stands in here. And one of the reasons for the armour stands is because of this armour here, which I'm going to put on now. There we go. And now I can go into my nuclear area. Just to let you know, in these medicine cabinets I've got the anti-radiation tonic and the anti-radiation transfusion, and in this one I've got the anti-radiation injections. Now I shouldn't need them for this, but inside this is now my, as you can hear, the radiation starts as you enter the zone, and this is where I've got my nuclear centrifuge, which creates the rods, the uranium rods, out of raw uranium, which you need to get from the nodes. And this is my nuclear reactor, which is powered by uranium rods. So you can't get uranium rods without farming or mining raw uranium. So you need to get raw uranium, process it in the centrifuge, then put it in your nuclear reactor. Now they last a long time. If you look at the fuel consumption there, the remaining time on one rod is 2 days, 2 hours and 5 minutes. So you got an awful long time, and you get quite a few rods. I think I got the first processing that I did, I got about 20 odd rods from the uranium that I had. So that's one thing. So if you want the achievement of placing your reactor, that's how you get it. And what I've done is I've distanced the walls so that basically outside the walls I'm outside the zone of radiation. I think if I go right up against the wall I might be inside it at certain points, but I don't have to get pretty close. I think around about here, yeah, somewhere on the stairs I sometimes get it there. If I'm right up against the wall, then I sometimes get it. You can see just so, yeah, you just distance it around. But if you put it in the corner, then obviously the radius, the radius outside goes outside your base. So I'll just have a look around, and the reason I've done this is because this is also my fishing point, and you can obviously get the achievement by using the fishing rod and catching a fish by using the radiation zone. I did it here. I just used a fishing rod while you've got that radiation debuff irradiated, and that's how you get that achievement. Now there's a quest in the game where there's a large fortification. I think it's the last quest in the chain, where there's some large fortifications that you can actually pick up and bring back to base. So that's what I've done here. And of course when you place them you achieve the place a concrete or stone fortification achievement as well. So that's how you do that, and I do protect my base quite well. There's some concrete spikes on the outside which kill stuff, and I've obviously placed the dropship landing pad and called my dropship, so that's right next to my base, which is nice. And I've also I created the advanced orbital exchange interface, which means now I can request those right next to my base. And the good thing about this, one of the best things about this, is it doesn't cause damage to anything. It doesn't cause damage to you, it doesn't cause damage to your building pieces. So it's ideal. Even when you send it up, it doesn't cause any damage. So It's pretty awesome. And I've also got these two things. Now I might move them into my thingy eventually. I started them off outside my base because my base was a lot smaller. But I've got the natural oil refiner there, and I've got the crude oil refiner there. The crude oil refiner is connected to a pump jack, which is off in the desert. I think it's K10, that bottom corner of the bottom right corner of the desert there in K10. That's where you can see, there's actually on the map, you can see the 4 oil gauges actually on the permanent map in that spot there. So yeah, you have to run a crude oil all the way from there all the way through. You can see the cave system. You can come through back into the Arctic zone. I've mapped that out with trail beacons. So that's how you do the crude oil. And the natural oil refiner, you connect that up to, I'm just going to show you, you connect that up to your organic extractor, and your organic extractor takes spoiled plants. So you have tons of trees with coconuts, and you put the coconuts in the wood composter, and that creates a ton of spoiled plants. And you put the spoiled plants in your organic extractor, and you hook up your organic extractor to the natural oil refiner, and it will fill up oil barrels and oil cans that you put in there. Sorry, it won't. It'll fill up. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. I also augment that device with electric composter, so I still fill up the portable biofuel tanks using the wood and the tree sap that you get from your coconut trees. So you just create the sap using using these mortars and pestles. So you get both the wood then and the sap, and then you can fill up your portable biofuel tanks, and then you can hook them up to, you can see the green there. There's something going on with the weather right now. Looks like it's snowing outside. It's persisting into the base. So that green is the natural oil piping. So that's connected. These 4 tanks are connected to the natural oil refiner outside. And when you pop an oil barrel in, it converts the biofuel into natural oil and fills the oil barrels up. And likewise, this one's filling oil barrels up from a pump jack in the desert. So with those two together, you've pretty much got an infinite and easy supply of oil for your hovercraft, which I tend to keep a spare oil can in. It doesn't have a heavy slot, which is a bit rubbish, because I suppose they don't want you carrying around a big oil drum, because then you've basically got infinite fuel. So, but you can carry 5 oil cans, and it does last a long time. The other thing you obviously use the oil for is in the polymerizer. You create compounds, plastics, and synthetics, and you can put the large oil barrels straight into the inventory of the polymerizer and just set it going, crafting all those resources. And I tend to just keep a ton of those in there right next to my manufacturer bench, and that way you've got essentially an infinite number of those resources for crafting, which is useful. So I'll go and swap my armour back, and just a note on the armour, you don't actually need the hazmat armour. In fact, you don't want the hazmat armour really when you're going to mine a uranium node, and I'll do a separate video on the uranium node and talk a bit more about it there, but essentially it just doesn't have enough physical resistance. So the uranium nodes are a bit like the geishas. When you do the geisha, when you set it going and all the creatures spawn and come and attack you, well, that happens with the uranium node as well. So I'll do a separate video on that shortly. But you don't want to be wearing hazmat equipment because it's not got enough physical resistance, you'd end up dying. So you got to find another way. Now, one way is wearing the classical obsidian armour, but if you're lucky enough to have got enough points to get the orbital exchange armour, the stabilisation armour, that's also got radiation resistance. So I tend to do a combination of this stabilisation armour, and there is also a module which I'll just quickly show you if I can find my modules bag, or maybe I don't have it. Oh yes, there we go. So one of these modules gives you 25 radiation resistance, so you're better off using that module and the stabilisation armour, because you end up with enough radiation protection that you'll be fine. But this has a lot of physical resistance, so you can protect yourself against the beasts. The only other thing on radiation is it doesn't actually ever kill you. So if you want that achievement that says die from radiation, what you actually have to do is get your radiation bar at the bottom left there underneath your buffs. There's a small bar that shows tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 radiation poisoning. You need to get it to max out tier 3 radiation poisoning, which you can do at your base. You just stand without any clothes on over in your thing for a while, and you'll end up eventually, after a lot of time, maxing out that bar. Then just go outside and kill yourself somehow. I think I got an animal to kill me. It'll never actually kill you. It just reduces your stats by a percentage. So I think the maximum is 80%. So you end up with like 100 and 120 hit points or something. But you still have to find something else to actually kill you, and that will give you that achievement, die by radiation poisoning, even though it isn't the radiation that's killed you. So I hope that explained a few things, and hope that helps. And I'll do a separate video on the mining of the uranium itself and how to deal with that. So thanks for watching Elvonic Games, and I'll speak to you again soon.